I was thirsty. I got up. I went to get something to drink. When I opened the fridge, I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom was like, wow.
You were naked in her kitchen and said, why?
Called my phone and said she was pregnant. When she had to go to the appointment, called and let us know too.
What
I wouldn't tell no lie. We accept that baby from day one. Anything that you ask us to do for this baby, we're there for this baby.
That's who was going to
She wanted me to stay in the apartment after her son passed away.
You came and stayed there when you were pregnant.
Yes, I did come to stay there. And when I was saying that, and after I moved to my parents' house.
Buckle up, folks. The courtroom drama is just getting started. The case Salvo vs. Gonzalez is introduced by the court clerk. Miss Salvo claims she's about 99% sure that Mr. Gonzalez is the father of her 1-year-old daughter, Amaya, and she's here to prove it. She stresses the importance of Amaya having a father figure, hinting that this episode could be a real tearjerker. You won't believe what's coming next.
You carried on a sexual relationship with the defendant, Mr. Gonzalez. Desperately want to prove Mr. Gonzalez her biological father because it will break your heart without a dad.
Here we go. Miss Salvo steps up and declares that Mr. Gonzalez is absolutely the dad, spilling her guts about how much this means to her. On the flip side, Mr. Gonzalez isn't convinced he's the father, thanks to Miss Salvo's rather colorful dating history, which apparently includes his best bud. Brace yourselves. Courtroom's about to turn into a soap opera.
But because Miss Salvo's repeated lies, you have no idea if it's true. You argue that Miss Salvo had sex with multiple men. Any one of them could be her child's father.
The plot thickens. Miss Salvo is sticking to her guns, denying any romantic escapades with other men around the time Amaya was conceived, except with Mr. Gonzalez. She recounts a single night of passion, which she claims was enough to start the baby clock. Oh boy, keep watching. It's about to get juicier.
I've never had sex with any other man but him. I was drunk, he came over, he got me at the right time.
You had one time?
Yes.
Time for a quick chuckle. Mr. Gonzalez shares a hilarious tale about getting caught in the buff in Miss Salvo's kitchen by her mom, who apparently appreciated the view. The courtroom erupts in laughter, but don't wander off. The laughter's about to be overshadowed by some serious drama.
I was thirsty. I got up. I went to get something to drink. When I opened the fridge, I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom was like, wow.
You were naked in her kitchen and said, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Plot twist, Mr. Gonzalez admits they weren't exactly casual acquaintances. They had a bit of a fling while he was technically engaged to someone else. He dishes out details about their trysts, leaving us wondering about the protection protocol. Things are heating up. Stick around for the sizzle.
So I used to tell my fiance, I'm gonna go to the hair salon or to go get my braids done. I used to go to Ashley's house to go get my hair done, maybe once or twice.
The whole part 6 times, that's ridiculous. It wasn't even good, so why would I keep going?
It's time for a mini genetics lesson in the courtroom. Miss Salvo argues that Amaya has got to be Gonzalez's because, well, she just looks like him. A lot. She's even got a photo to prove it, focusing on a dimple that might as well be a genetic signature. Get ready, the next part is a doozy.
She looks way too much. The dimple, one dimple just like he does. The shape of his eyebrows, a picture of my daughter with her one dimple.
Gonzalez has a dimple. Here, Amaya, I got one dimple.
As if this couldn't get any more tangled, enter the ex-boyfriend and Mr. Gonzalez's best friend, both potential daddies, according to Mr. G. Miss Salvo is having none of insisting it's all Gonzalez, all the time. Fasten your seatbelts. The emotional roller coaster is not slowing down.
Your best friend had naked pictures of Miss Salvo.
Yes.
He's lying. I don't even send naked pictures. I don't ever even let nobody
claiming he had a sexual relationship with Salvo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you with any other men during this window besides your ex-boyfriend and Mr. Gonzalez?
I was with nobody.
Let's talk about baby duty. Mr. Gonzalez claims he's been Mr. Mom, while Miss Salvo calls bluff, saying her fiance has been the real MVP. The accusations fly faster than diapers at a baby shower. Don't touch that dial. The DNA results are up next, and they're a game changer.
Formula, diapers, baby carrier, everything.
That's a bold-faced lie. 2 itty-bitty toothbrushes and some toothpaste for my daughter. His mother bought that and found it on the corner of the road. I don't purchase it. I'm not quite sure.
And here's the moment we've all been waiting for.
It has been determined by this court that you are not the father.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Mr. Fuller and his mom roll into court, claiming he's the dad to Ms. Nelson's 2-year-old Spitfire, Milani. They're dead set on proving paternity against Ms. Nelson's stark denial. Grab your popcorn. It's about to get spicy.
Mr. Fuller, you and your mother are here today to prove that you fathered the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Milani. You say Ms. Nelson led you to believe that you were her daddy and build a strong relationship, wants to rip her away from you. Ms. Nelson, you acknowledge Mr. Fuller's relationship with your daughter, but you are now certain that he he is not child's father and will prove it in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Ms. Nelson drops a bombshell. The DNA test shows Mr. Fuller isn't the daddy. He and his mom are cut off from her kid. The audience loses it. You won't believe what's coming next.
So, Ms. Nelson, what are your intentions today if DNA results prove you're correct?
They will never see my daughter again. Their time just has expired with my child.
Wow, that's kind of harsh considering they have a relationship.
Barely.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Fuller paints a picture of his cozy bond with little Milani, clashing big time with Ms. Nelson's story. They've had sleepovers and everything. Stick around. The drama's just heating up.
I got a bond with Milani. She'll bring her hair to me. She'll let her stay the night and everything for 3 months.
Not 3 months. I'm positive.
You sure?
I have allowed her to spend the night with them.
We live in Fort Lauderdale. She in Melbourne. We have this baby 2 to 3 months.
You got her
whenever
few
she
weeks.
need us
we
to
don't.
leave.
You had her for
I
a
don't-
few weeks.
Here's a curveball for you. Ms. Fuller's been sure from the jump that she's a grandma to Milani, despite Ms. Nelson's fiery denials. But wait, there's more. Ms. Nelson's about to throw some shade.
Do you believe this is your son's
From
biological
day one,
child?
girl called. I said, "Oh, I'm a grandmother." I said,
I never
Miss
called you.
Nelson,
I never even had your
I
number
promise
to get
God,
in check
I wouldn't
with
tell you no lie.
You're not gonna believe this. Ms. Nelson tells the tale of trying to reach Mr. Fuller about her bun in the oven via Facebook since he ghosted her calls. But hold your horses. Her next move is a doozy.
I called him, he didn't answer. I saw that he was on Facebook, and then I wrote him on Facebook.
Called my phone and said she was pregnant. When she had to go to the appointment, called and let us know too.
What am
I
I
wouldn't
that
tell no lie.
referring to?
We accept that baby from day one. Anything that you ask us to do for this baby, we're there for this baby.
Did that just happen? Against her better judgment, Ms. Nelson's fam nudged Milani into Mr. Fuller's life when she was just a wee babe. She's not thrilled about it. Watch how she handles this pickle.
I did not inform them at all. My mother, behind my back, called them.
Now, once she called them, did they come to see the baby?
No, they did not.
How did they ever form a relationship with the child?
My baby was about 5 or 6 months old. I was at work. I was in a relationship with someone.
At 5 months old, when the child 5 months old, you're in a new relationship.
No.
Gear up for a giggle. Mr. Fuller whips out text where Ms. Nelson is all sweet nothings about their kiddo. But don't spill your drink. The courtroom's reaction is priceless.
Mr. Fuller, do you have any proof that she told you that you were the father?
Yes, Your Honor. I
You
got
do.
proof right here.
These are text messages. So from Miss Nelson, I see a message that says, "We made a beautiful little angel. I love you, Milani." Then Mr. Fuller says, "I know BM, baby, our baby, very beautiful. That must be thank BM for Milani."
Check this out. Mr. Fuller thinks Milani is his mini-me. He's got a photo to prove it, but the court's cracking up. Don't go anywhere. Ms. Johnson's about to enter the chat.
Cause she look just like me. She got my nose, forehead.
Your Honor, after the 5 months when my mother again went behind I was at work. I didn't even know they were in town. I'm on my job. The other guy who I was with blowing me up, so I'm hearing something's wrong. How can you, at 5 months, no contact with me, but come to my household where I live?
This is the tea. Ms. Johnson, Ms. Nelson's mom, swears up and down that Mr. Fuller is the dad. According to her, Ms. Nelson's love life is messing with her head. Fasten your seatbelts. The judge is about to weigh in.
Mr. Fuller, is Milani's biological father?
Yes.
Why do you believe your daughter cannot even believe it's a possibility that he's her biological father?
The other guy. When her and the other guy gets mad, Mr. Fuller's baby. Her and Mr. Fuller's not speaking, then it's the other guy's baby.
Oh!
This is wild. As we brace for the DNA verdict, Ms. Fuller's already tearing up, and the feels are real. But don't touch that dial. The truth bomb they're about to drop is a showstopper.
Ms. Nelson, it's borderline cruel the way you're acting. Truly wants to understand your position, but I can't get anything from you. I mean, they are over there crying.
She wanted a relationship with the child. I was not even gonna let her be part. She was like, I don't care if not my grandbaby. I
Let her
want a
speak.
relationship with this child. She knew there was a possibility of someone else.
Just when you thought your jaw couldn't drop any lower.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fuller, you are not her father.
I knew who I slept with. I knew it. I knew it.
Just when you thought daytime TV couldn't get any spicier, Mr. Muriel drops a bombshell. He pleads his case for a paternity test, adamant that he's not the father of Ms. Redmond's toddler, Zedrian. He's all about clearing his name so he can stop dodging baby birthday parties and get back to his business. You won't believe what comes up next.
Mr. Muriel, you and your sister have petitioned to order a DNA test to prove that you are not father of the defendant's 18-month-old son. You have always believed you are not father, and do the test so you can prove your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Redmond, you say you're tired of being a single mom, didn't make this baby by yourself, state there is no reason for a paternity test because the plaintiff already acknowledged he was the father by signing birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh boy, things just got real. Judge Lake isn't buying the birth certificate signature without some tough questions. Why did Mr. Muriel sign it if he had doubts? He spills the beans about feeling cornered by Ms. Redmond's family, glaring at him like he's the last slice of pizza at a party. Buckle up, because there's more juicy stuff on the way.
When you were at the hospital, hospital, did you believe the child was yours at the time?
No.
You did not?
No.
You got the opportunity and it was time to sign the birth certificate. You went and did it, why?
Because I felt very like everybody's sitting there looking at me as like her family.
His mom was there telling him the baby looked just like, ain't no denying this baby.
Was your mother present at the birth, Mr. Muriel?
No.
Now, Judge Lake turns detective, trying to pinpoint when baby Zedrian might have been conceived. It's a math problem. Not even a calculator wants to solve. Mr. Muriel's alibi involves a lot of maybes and probably nots, stirring up more confusion than a soap opera cliffhanger. Stick around, the plot thickens.
I want to figure this out, because you saying you're here, you're there. Let's try to figure out actual date of conception.
Okay.
Zadrian's date of birth, what?
September 15th. I got the year and the date. Does your brother know my son's birthday if that's not his baby?
It's okay.
Why'd he sign my birth certificate middle name if it's not his baby?
After signed it, men, if they stick arm with what they do.
Here comes the big moment, folks. Judge Lake calls it. There's enough drama and doubt to warrant a paternity test. It's like flipping to the last page of a mystery novel. What's in store next is bound to flip the script.
I want to hear more facts that relate to the doubt in this case.
She got caught with a whole nother dude that she's saying she was at her friend's house. This is what happened from the beginning of the story. In my city, Lansing, Michigan, riding around. Pull up to one of my boys' house. I leave there. I see her vehicle in a neighborhood she's never in. I pull my car back.
Hold your popcorn, because the results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Muriel, you are the father.
Strap in, folks, the circus has just begun. Ms. Harris is smack in the middle of a love triangle drama with two dudes claiming they might be daddy to her 18-month-old daughter, Naya. Her main squeeze, Mr. Murray, and her ex-flame, Mr. Donaldson, are both here to get to the bottom of this baby bonanza. Just when you think you've got a handle on it, hold on to your popcorn because the plot thickens.
Ms. Harris, you have been caught in a love triangle. There are two men in court today claiming to have fathered your 18-month-old daughter, Anaya. Your current boyfriend, plaintiff, Mr. Murray, the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson. They are both in court today to prove paternity.
Here's where the soap opera levels up. Ms. Harris spills the tea about her rocky ride with Mr. Donaldson. They were all lovey-dovey until she got pregnant, then bam. He's got eyes for another, left to ride solo during her pregnancy. She still had Mr. Donaldson popping up at major events, playing the part-time good guy. Buckle up, the roller coaster is about to drop.
Tell me about your relationship with Mr. Donaldson.
From my understanding, we was dating. Then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. He told me that he didn't want to be with me. I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower. He came to the hospital with his mom when I had her.
So dating Mr. Donaldson, you're in a relationship. Y'all are boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
You find out you're pregnant while in the relationship with him?
Yes.
Twist alert. Mr. Donaldson throws a curveball, doubting the pregnancy because he thinks Ms. Harris is trying to glue him to her side since he's in love with someone else. Talk about drama. He's got suspicion written all over him and it's just heating up. Wait till you see what's coming. It's a jaw dropper.
I felt like she was trying to ruin the relationship that I was.
I feel like she was trying to hang on to you by claiming that she was pregnant because you told her you were in love with somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
Did you find out you wanted to be in a relationship with somebody else before you got pregnant or after you got pregnant?
It was after I got pregnant.
How long did this relationship last between you and Mr. Donaldson?
It was like a couple months. It wasn't that long.
Whoa there. Didn't see that coming, did ya? After doubting everything from the get-go, Mr. Donaldson finally faces the music when Ms. Harris's baby bump becomes too obvious to ignore. He admits he might be the pops, but skipped out on the doctor visits. The story's about to flip again, so don't touch that dial.
By that time, it was too late. She was like big. I hadn't seen her in so long. It wasn't even no point in getting a...
Did you accept at that time that you were the father of the baby?
I did.
You did. You acknowledged it and you accepted.
I did.
Were you active in the doctor's appointment? Go to those?
No.
No.
Were you there when the baby was born?
Yes.
You were at the hospital?
Yes.
And in this corner, introducing Mr. Murray. Out of nowhere, he gets dragged into this paternity puzzle because Mr. Donaldson tossed his name into the ring. This just turned into a daytime Emmy-worthy plot twist. The stakes are sky high, and the next chapter, it's a doozy.
Mr. Murray, why do you believe you could be the biological father of this child?
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message, Jalen. He told me that baby could possibly be mine.
So you get a message from Mr. Donaldson telling you that the baby could possibly be yours?
Yeah, I need to get a DNA test.
You sent him that message, Mr. Donaldson?
I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no. I don't recall.
Grab your snacks, folks. This telenovela's twisty. Ms. Harris owns up to juggling both gents around baby-making time, but is firm that Mr. Donaldson is the daddy based on their timeline. The emotional blender is set to high, and folks, you ain't ready for what's next. It's gonna be a wild ride.
You admittedly had sex with Mr. Murray during the time you were also having a relationship with Mr. Donald.
Because during that time, he used protection. From the time that talking about he could be her father is from a time in December.
You're saying the time that you had sex without protection was in December?
Yes.
It wasn't during the window of conception?
No.
Here comes a heart tug. Despite the daddy drama, Mr. Murray steps up big time, playing dad to little Anaya from when she was just a wee 3-month-old. Amidst the chaos, his big heart shines through. The feels are real, and just when you think it's all calming down, there's a curveball coming up.
So now Anaya's 18-month-old. Who's in her life father? Who does she bond with as a father? Mr. Murray.
She looks to him like he's her father because he's been there. He'd been there ever since she was 3 months.
At that point in time, she was in like a down position, so I just took her and I take care of both of you.
Everyone, take a breath. It's crunch time.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Murray, you are not the father.
That's okay. That's still your baby.
Angela Monroe breaks the ice by sharing her tough situation. Her son passed, and then out pops Shaneka Reed, claiming she's got his bun in her oven. Cue the dramatic music. Angela, the terminally ill mother, explains this bombshell situation. Grab your popcorn, folks. The drama is just heating up.
My name is Angela Monroe. My son Herbert died on January 27, 2015. After my son passed, a young lady named Shaneka Reed, which is the defendant, told me that she was pregnant from my son. The baby was born on May 31st, 2016. I really would like to know if Iyanna Monroe is my granddaughter.
Angela drops the gossip about how she found out about the pregnancy right after her son's funeral. Talk about bad timing. Angela details how she learned about Reed's pregnancy posthumously and describes her initial shock and disbelief. Strap in. This emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
I found out after my son passed, after his funeral. She came by the house, said, I have something to tell you. And she said, well, I'm pregnant. I really didn't know what to say at first. I was kind of stunned because I wasn't expecting that. I believe it was about 5 months.
This was the first time you ever heard that your son, your late son, and I'm so very sorry for loss, that he was the biological father of her child.
Yes.
Shaneka takes the floor and dishes on why she finally decided to spill the beans about the baby. She recounts her decision to inform Angela of her pregnancy, influenced by her chatty family and friends. The plot thickens, and oh boy, you won't believe what's next.
Actually, after a week after her son passed and after she laid him to rest, I called her. I wasn't even gonna let her know that I was pregnant with his child, but I was encouraged by family members, her only child, that it was important that I reach out to her. So I gave her a call. I told her that I was pregnant by her son, and I told her that I was almost 5 months pregnant.
Now, Shaneka paints a picture of her and the deceased as more than just friends. They were practically planning curtains. She shifts the conversation to their deep relationship, complicating the story for Angela, who thought she knew her son's life inside out. Keep your eyes peeled. The next part is a doozy.
That was my companion. From the second week on hanging together, he already had made it up in his mind that he wanted me to be his life companion. When she was moving out, I was supposed to move into his apartment.
Did you meet his mother?
Yes, I did meet her.
And he introduced you as girlfriend or?
No, friend. And the thing about that was our apartment, me and my son's apartment.
Things get spicy as Angela and Shaneka go head to head about who knew what and when. They exchange heated words about their expectations and misunderstandings, showing just how tangled this web is. The tea is piping hot, and it's only going to get hotter.
Nobody can take God took my son from me, so you my son to be anywhere else. That is not the person that was supposed to stay in that apartment. It was someone from California that was advised to me. That's who was going to stay in the apartment.
She wanted me to stay in the apartment after her son passed away.
You came and stayed there when you were pregnant.
I did come to stay there, and when I was staying there, and after I moved to my parents' house.
As voices raise, the focus swings back to what's best for the kiddo. The dialogue turns chaotic as both parties argue over living arrangements and financial support, revealing a breakdown in communication and a tug of war over who's in charge. Hang on, judge is about to lay down the law.
Okay, I'm accepting this baby for the first 4 months, but then
And you tell her she can come and live if she wants.
This was when she was pregnant, because my son did ask could she come stay there. I was literally like, you want somebody to just come stay here? He said, Mom, she don't have nowhere to go.
Your Honor, why, if I wasn't his girlfriend, why would he want me to stay with him? He wanted me to come since he knew I was with his child.
Judge Lake jumps in to cool down the fiery debate, aiming to steer the conversation back to the little one at the heart of this saga. She attempts to restore order and refocus the discussion on the child's welfare, highlighting the need for civility amidst the chaos. The room quiets down, but don't relax just yet. The main event is up next.
Ma'am, listen.
Lady,
let the judge speak or the case is over.
We made it this far. All I'm trying to do is understand. Because I will say one thing. I know your son. This is his baby. Because this won't just be happening in this courtroom. This will be happening around.
Yeah, and I do not want my daughter around it.
You can't.
I'm not gonna be around. I'm not in a position to be arguing with anybody. I don't have to do that. I didn't label her at the end of the day.
Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Angela Monroe and Iyanna Monroe is 99.98%.
Hold on to your socks. They're about to get knocked off. Ms. Wyatt spills the tea that her hubby, Mr. Roberts, is doubting whether he's the daddy of their 1-year-old daughter, all because he's been playing the field himself. This intro sets up a saga of personal and emotional fireworks. Just you wait, the sparks are about to fly.
Ms. Wyatt, you claim that your husband, Mr. Roberts, is ending paternity of your 1-year-old daughter, London, and it's driving a wedge into your marriage. You say that you got married or knowing each other for only 2 months, and your husband is denying the child only to hide his cheating ways. Yes,
Things are heating up now. Ms. Wyatt paints a picture of their marriage like it's a sinking ship, all because her man is denying their kiddo and gets jelly over nothing. She's pretty sure his cheating accusations are just him throwing smoke. Fasten your seatbelts. Next revelation is a doozy.
Now, Ms. Wyatt, describe the current state of your marriage.
Your Honor, our marriage is on the verge of divorce right now. First of all, he's denying our daughter. I think it's just to cover up the fact that he, does a lot of cheating. Like, for instance, one time I went to the store, a neighbor, he's 17 years old, and he came to her and was like, hey, Greg just got upset for nothing.
Oh boy, here comes the bickering marathon. A full-blown squabble breaks out because Mr. Roberts got all pouty about a teen neighbor just saying hi to Ms. Wyatt. Talk about drama over nothing. This couple's thermostat is set to tropical storm. And guess what? It's only going to get stormier from here.
Time out. That is so wrong. I'm gonna tell you something. This guy likes my, feel me? What older woman let a young guy?
He was speaking.
Knowing kids these days, feel me?
Your Honor.
They don't respect marriage.
What husband is going to get upset because a 7-year-old boy is speaking? Like, are you serious? He's a neighbor.
Just when you thought it couldn't get soapier, Mr. Roberts is all kinds of annoyed that Ms. Wyatt's exes are still in the picture every time she kicks him to the curb. His suspicion pot is boiling over, and let me tell you, nobody's turning down the heat. Stick around, the tea is just about to spill.
First of all, it's the thing with the exes. Every time, we went through a problem, she'll send me home, next thing you know, the exes is at the house.
First of all, I'm never over just to call an ex over. If we get into an argument and he either leave or I make him go home to his mom, which he loves to do because, matter of fact, his mom and his sister, they all watch him cheat on me.
Yikes, the plot thickens. Out pops the bombshell that Ms. Wyatt might be window shopping for new hubbies online. She argues it's because her current model is a dud. Talk about airing your dirty laundry in public. The next piece of gossip is just around the corner.
Throughout our marriage, he had online profiles. He was talking to women. I've had women contact me saying, are you married to him? Because that's my boyfriend. I'm like, we're married. How is that your boyfriend? I don't know any other way, honest, I don't know any other way to let him know how I feel. So I tried to get him back just to prove it, and so that he can feel how when he cheats on me.
Hold the phone, evidence time. Mr. Roberts waves around what he claims is proof of Ms. Wyatt's dating profile, like he's got a winning lottery ticket. The courtroom's buzzing like a beehive with this new twist. Oh, and keep your eyes peeled because there's more buzz to come.
Wyatt also has online dating profiles. Do you have any evidence of that?
Oh,
right.
Yes, I do.
This is a dating profile for Ms. Wyatt, and I'm reading a portion that says, I am currently not looking for a relationship. If nature takes its place, then so be it.
Time for a reality check. The judge is putting Mr. Roberts on the hot seat about whether he's really all in as a hubby and daddy. It's a grill session that has him squirming. And let me tell you, the heat's only going up from here.
Seems like to me, marriage isn't going the way you thought it would. As a man, I'm not seeing your commitment on a very basic level, meaning the want and desire, step up, be a husband and father vibe. Is this the case? No, a yes or no answer.
Here comes the moment of truth. Paternity. Test results. Time. Drum roll, please.
When it comes to 1-year-old London, Mr. Roberts, you are her father. Exactly.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for
But you gotta knock on your own door.
Exactly.
I'm looking at them run through the field.
At least 30 minutes to open up the door.
I don't have no problem with her. She's laughing and giggling like it's a joke. Yo, kids grew up with their fathers. I did it. It acts like it's my mama's fault. Because at the end of the day, when I was 15, 15 were those 2 months for his first child, Carrie Michelle, and the name needs to be changed to Freeman. You need to grow up and be a man. This woman dictates to you about just be there for your son. You like to clown? Your son will love it. He loves to laugh and play.
Can you handle this? Miss Whalen admits to a steamy affair with Mr. LeBlanc, who's already hitched, claiming he's the daddy of her little tyke, Vincent. Mr. LeBlanc, desperate to save his marriage, is set on proving he's not the father, while Mrs. LeBlanc is totally over it, stating if the DNA test shows hubby is the dad, she's out of there.
Ms. Whalen, you admit you've been in a sexual relationship with Mr. LeBlanc, a married man, and claim he is the father of your 2-year-old son, Vincent Whalen. You are determined to prove that you are not father of Miss Whalen's son in hopes of saving your marriage. You are at your breaking point and say if the DNA proves your husband is the father, your marriage is over.
Hold on to your popcorn. Miss Whalen spills the beans about how she dropped the pregnancy bomb on Mr. LeBlanc during a particularly cozy night. She's freaking out about how to break the news, while he's sweating bullets about the whole ordeal. Stick around, because the drama in the courtroom is about to heat up even more.
It was one night telling him that I might be pregnant because I hadn't started my ministry and got some pregnancy tests. Asked me to take them. He sat on side my bed holding his head. When I took the first one, I gave it to him and it showed that I was pregnant. He asked me to take another one because he was in disbelief about the first one, so I took another one. You can't be pregnant. It's only because he didn't know how he was going to go back and tell his wife that I was pregnant.
Heated argument between the parties. Did you see that coming? As the room heats up, Ron, the court officer, jumps in to stop Miss Whalen and Mrs. LeBlanc from turning the courtroom into a wrestling ring. The judge steps in to scold everyone, reminding them this isn't just about them, it's about the kids too. Keep watching, fireworks are about to get even wilder.
He knew he could do that over there. He kept putting that over here. Over there, he knew he could do it. It's called love. Feelings you can put in your pocket and throw away. Feelings you can put in your pocket, you can throw them on the ground. Love, I love my mother.
But all y'all look crazy because you sit up there arguing back and forth. He doing nothing but running back and forth. It's not even solving anything.
Doubts about paternity due to rumors. You're not gonna believe this twist. Mr. LeBlanc throws a curveball, questioning Vincent's paternity based on neighborhood gossip that Miss Whalen might have had a fling with the guy next door. The plot thickens with this added layer of drama, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, there's more to the story. The next reveal is a doozy. Don't miss it.
Very promiscuous, like I said. The mailman, not only that, you're sleeping with a married man. He came to you because you were easy. It's
hold on, Miss
easy.
LeBlanc.
He couldn't do what he wanted to do.
You're saying this marriage is over, finally done?
I'm at my breaking point.
Grab your tissues, or maybe not. Miss Whalen opens up about how messed up this whole situation has made her feel, from her self-worth to her living situation. The judge isn't having any of it, pointing out Mr. LeBlanc's habit of making bad decisions and the emotional chaos it's caused. What happens next is jaw-dropping. Stay tuned.
And it hurts, but then it doesn't, because at the end I'm gonna take care of my kids regardless. But they didn't ask to be brought here.
I love my wife, I want to be with my wife, but at the same time, my wife, it's a struggle because it's hard to try to be with my wife knowing there's a possibility that these other kids are mine. Trying to have a move forward in our marriage, it's hard for her to accept, bringing other kids into the household that's outside our marriage.
And now, the moment of truth. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. LeBlanc, you are the father.
The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as things kick off. The introduction of the case, Hicks versus Smith, sets the stage with Ms. Hicks pointing fingers at her past mistakes, hoping to salvage her relationship, while Mr. Smith strongly denies being the father of her 3-month-old daughter, Honesty. Ms. Hicks is banking on a DNA test to prove Mr. Smith's paternity, which he opposes, armed with a bombshell witness, none other than the plaintiff's sister.
Ms. Hicks, you say the sins of your past have brought you into court today to save your relationship. You are petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Honesty.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Smith lays out his defense, claiming he's got medical proof that he's not the father and is ace in the hole, a witness who's going to back him up. When the plaintiff's sister steps in as that witness, siding with Mr. Smith, the courtroom tension cranks up a notch. She supports his claim that he isn't the father, adding a spicy layer to the drama. Next up, things are going to heat up even more, if that's even possible.
Mr. Smith, you say you have medical evidence prove you are not Honesty's father, and if that's not enough, your bombshell witness will close your case. The plaintiff's very own sister says you are not the father. Jerome, please escort her in.
I'm gonna have you go right up here on the left side.
The stakes are high and the gloves are off. During fiery exchanges in the courtroom, Ms. Hicks defends her honor, passionately asserting she knows the father of her children, while her sister throws accusations of dishonesty and infidelity her way. Accusations fly about Ms. Hicks's colorful romantic history, causing gasps and murmurs murmurs from the audience. Buckle up, the roller coaster is just getting started.
I got something to say. She telling false lies. I know for a fact he was not the only one she was
you're there in the
sleeping
same
with.
bed with me when I'm sleeping with these people. I get.
How long
We're
have I been
having
your
threesomes.
sister? They was staying with me for some time. From what I know, my sister's a cheater. She been like that her whole life, okay?
Hold on to your popcorn. Here comes a curveball. Mr. Smith spills the beans about a personal medical condition he claims has left him infertile, throwing a wrench in the paternity question. Ms. Hicks counters, arguing their child is living proof he's wrong, which ignites even more fiery debate over his medical claims and her fidelity. Just wait, the next part is a doozy.
So you believe you can't have children, and this is what you were told by a medical professional. Did you inform Ms. Hicks about when you all were in a sexual relationship?
No, Your Honor. He never informed me about any of this. When he did tell me, this came up like 2 months after Honesty was born, that you can have kids. I didn't make this baby myself.
As the plot thickens, Mr. Smith recounts a wild tale of another man making a daring escape out Ms. Hicks's window, which he presents as evidence of her cheating. They hash out the details of the pregnancy and Mr. Smith's initial reaction, adding layers to the already complex relationship drama. It's a soap opera in the making, and the next witness's words might just blow the roof off.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
But you gotta knock on your own door.
Exactly. 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
You won't believe this bit. Dr. Jamila Gator steps up to shed light on Mr. Smith's hypogonadism, the plot twist in our tale of disputed paternity. The courtroom dives into a medical jargon-filled debate about whether his condition truly means he can't father children. Mr. Smith sticks to his guns, but the doubt hangs heavy in the air. Hang tight, the judge is about to drop a bombshell.
So hypogonadism is when the body doesn't produce enough testosterone. You can either be born with it, can develop it later in life. Usually from things like infection or an injury to the testicles can also cause it. But nature gives us 2 testicles, and so usually it has to be a found injury to not one, but both testicles to actually cause hypogonadism.
The moment of truth is about to drop like a hot potato.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are the father.
The room is buzzing as everyone settles in. The case kicks off with Judge Lake laying down the law, introducing it as Lewis versus Scott. Mr. Lewis steps up claiming he's the real deal, Crystal Scott's biological dad, though he's been MIA due to some mysterious reasons. He's super confident that the DNA test is about to make him a happy man, believing for years that he's the dad.
Mr. Lewis, you say 35 years you've always known you were Miss Scott's biological father. Circumstances kept you away. You claim the DNA results prove you are Crystal Scott's dad.
Here comes Mr. Scott, ready to drop side of the story. He's been there since day one, at the hospital when Crystal was born, and he's been the dad she's always known. He's still hitched to Crystal's mom and bets all his chips that the DNA test will back him up. Strap in, because you won't believe what's coming.
Mr. Scott, you claim you are Crystal's biological father. You were at her birth, raised her from day one, and are still legally married to her mother. You say the results prove you are Crystal's dad.
Now, Mr. Lewis gets all mushy, pouring his heart out. He recalls a chat from 35 years back when Crystal's mom told him he was the dad. He's been holding on to that like a kid with a superhero cape, seeing bits of himself in Crystal and convinced she's his mini-me. The drama's about to ramp up, so keep your eyes peeled.
She is my daughter. I believed her when her mom told me 35 years ago that I was the father. I never doubted her. I look at her, a lot of pictures. I looked at her, she became an adult. Have a lot of the same characteristics. When I look at her, I said, wow, I see myself. We've taken some pictures together with the other kids. She looks as much like me as all the other kids.
Crystal takes the spotlight, sharing her tale of growing up thinking Mr. Scott was her bio dad because that's what her mom told her. She reminisces about fishing trips and vacations that painted the perfect family picture. But hold on to your popcorn. The plot thickens in just a sec.
Your Honor, my mom never told me that Mr. Lewis was my biological father. My dad here, he raised me. He taught me how to fish. We went on family vacation. That's when we were in Florida. Just last year, we were there for a family reunion. Well, he taught me what to expect from a man, hardworking.
Things get real as Mr. Lewis spills the beans about an 8-year secret romance with Crystal's mom, which Mr. Scott knew nada about. Imagine that soap opera twist. This affair adds layers of secrets and drama to the mix, making you wonder just how this family web will untangle.
I was in love with her. I believed she was in love with me. I was an unhappy man. She was an unhappy wife.
So you knew she was married, and you said you were an unhappy man.
I was an unhappy husband. We became involved. We had probably an 8-year relationship. She told me that at 7 months, she asked me, who do you think this child is? I said, well, it's your husband. She said, no, it's yours.
Crystal reminisces about the good old days, like those sneaky store meetups with Mr. Lewis when she was just a kiddo. Mom introduced him as just a friend, but they were handing out more than just friendly hugs. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
When I was a kid, 5 years old, 6 years old, when she would say, let's go to the store, that's when we would go and meet Mr. Lewis in the store. Of course, it would just be me, her, and I. He would give me $5, $10. They would walk a little bit down the aisle, you know, and hug, kiss. And
you saw your mother hug and kiss
I would
Mr.
just
Lewis.
be.
And so who did your mother tell you this man was?
She just told me he was a friend.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats for the big reveal. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Lewis.
Can you even imagine? Ms. Percy kicks things off by demanding a paternity test to prove Mr. Gale is the pops of her 26-year-old kiddo, Tedria. She's dishing out that she's coughed up close to $200,000 raising her daughter solo, thinks it's high time Mr. Gale foots some of the bill. You've got to hear how Mr. Gale tackles this one.
Miss Percy, you've petitioned the court for a paternity test. You're here to prove to Mr. Gale and his wife that he is the father of your 26-year-old daughter, Tedria Glenn. You claim that you've spent nearly $200,000 to raise your daughter, and he's done nothing.
Did he really just say that? Mr. Gale snaps back at Ms. Percy's hefty claims, explaining he only got wind of possibly being Tedria's dad when she hit 15. Plus, he's sweating bullets over the thought that his marriage might crumble if the test shows he's the father. Oh boy, the next bit is a doozy.
Mr. Gale, you claim you weren't there for Miss Glenn because you only found out she may be your child when she was 10 years old. Your big fear is that your wife will leave you if you're proven to be the father.
You could cut the tension with a knife. The courtroom watches a fiery exchange as Ms. Percy accuses Mr. Gale of dodging daddy duties because of his wife's meddling. The spat heats up with Mr. Gale, insisting his wife doesn't block his dad duties. But hold on to your popcorn. It's about to get even spicier.
Be with his children, to spend time with his children.
My wife never stopped me seeing any of my kids.
Every time my daughter calls him, it's like, oh, I can't talk to you right now. Tanya's sitting right here.
Right, because I don't want to disrespect my wife.
How would
I
you
knew that was my daughter,
This is your daughter.
I knew that was my daughter.
It's your daughter.
This just turned into a soap opera. They dive into the nitty-gritty of Mr. Gale's past romances, with Ms. Percy claiming their love story lasted way longer than he admits. The judge is on a mission to sort out the timeline to see if it matches Tedria's arrival to planet Earth.
It was committed. We was 7 years.
Wasn't no 7 years.
You were
How long was it?
4 or 5 years.
No, it wasn't.
When I got with her, she was 16, I was 21. Then when I was 26, I was with my wife.
Your birthday?
October 9th, 1988.
Mr. Gale, you got married in February of 2002. How long were you together before that?
15 years.
You won't believe this part. Amidst the chaos, Mr. Gale lets slip about his on and off flings with Ms. Percy during his marriage, which she insists included more than a few sleepovers. The accusations fly left and right, contradicting each other's stories about when and how often they were together. Strap in, because Tedria is about to drop some truth bombs.
We was still sleeping together the whole time you was with Tanya.
No, we wasn't. We
Yes,
slept together one time, Your Honor.
Still trying to sleep with.
What?
Oh, whoa. That's cute. Don't lie.
Oh my.
Ms. Glenn was conceived, if you are her biological father,
well, she
during
already
that time.
had somebody else tested.
Everyone's ears perked up for this. Tedria steps up and pours her heart out, desperate for some closure on who her real dad is. Her plea touches on feeling left out and her ache for a father figure, tugging at everyone's heartstrings.
I may not have had a father, but I'm somebody. I don't have no problem with her. She's laughing and giggling like it's a joke. Yo, kids grew up with their father. I did it. It acts like it's my mama's fault. Because at the end of the day, when I was 15, when I was 2 months, you should have been a woman and said, this girl don't need to grow up without a father.
Grab your tissues, folks.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Gale, you are not her father.
Hear me, boo. Holla at your girl. Let's roll.
What you talking?
Here we go, folks. The opening act kicks off with the case of Rayford versus Freeman, where Ms. Rayford accuses Mr. Freeman of fathering her 8-month-old son, Terry, and then bailing on them both. She claims he convinced her to have his baby, then jetted back to his fiancée, and now denies the kiddo.
Ms. Rayford, you say Mr. Freeman's inability to be honest has landed you smack in the middle of a love triangle that produced your 8-month-old son, Terry, whom he now denies. You say that after begging you to have his child, Mr. Freeman abruptly left your relationship relationship, turned to his fiance and started denying your baby.
Oh boy, the sparks are flying. Mr. Freeman paints a picture of his time with Ms. Rayford as nothing more than a brief fling, slinging accusations that she was not exactly monogamous. He's dead set on the belief that he's not the dad. You'll want to stick around for what's next. It's a doozy.
Mr. Freeman, you say Ms. Rayford was nothing more than a fling who is now obsessed with you and fiance, Ms. Triplett. You claim that during your brief time with Rayford, she was sleeping with multiple men, and there is no way you are her son's father.
You're not gonna believe this. Ms. Rayford lays into Mr. Freeman, calling him a deadbeat dad who hasn't lifted a finger for baby Terry. She's airing out all their dirty laundry about how he skipped out on fatherly duties.
Mr. Freeman hasn't done nothing. He's been a deadbeat. He refused to step up to the plate ever since he got with this Miss Triplett.
Hold on, first of all,
if
that erupted from 0 to 100 in less than 1 second.
Wait till you get a load of this. The courtroom turns into a hotbed of drama as Ms. Rayford and Ms. Triplett, the fiance, exchange fiery words, forcing Judge Lake to step in as things nearly boil over.
today that this is his son, so he could step up and be the man he needs to be for his first child, Terry, Michelle, and the name needs to be changed to Freeman. You need to grow up and be a man. This woman dictates to you about just be there for your son. You like to clown? Your son will love it. He loves to laugh and play.
Hang on to your seats. Mr. Freeman isn't taking these accusations lying down. He argues he's tried to be there for Terry, but keeps hitting walls, mostly thrown up by Ms. Rayford. He spills the beans on his thwarted attempts to be a dad. Oh, and just when you think it can't get more chaotic, it does.
Is this because you do not believe Terry is your biological son?
I don't believe he's my son. I tried multiple times to come to Trina's house and deliver stuff. I brought things for the child, you know what I'm saying? She's neglecting me, told me I don't need your stuff.
This round's a real slugfest. Accusations fly back and forth between Ms. Rayford and Ms. Triplett, stirring up a storm of jealousy and mudslinging. The courtroom feels more like a reality TV show set. Don't go anywhere. The main event is up next.
So you know every move that man make, huh?
Nope, I thought he made a wrong move when he went over.
Oh, you jealous. You wish that was your son, huh?
How can I be
you
jealous?
wish that was your... The only thing I refused was on this particular day, he was saying that he had came by once and he had bought a few items for the baby.
In your mind, when he brought those things, he was accepting Terry. He was, this is for the baby.
Yeah, he had been accepting Terry.
Fasten your seatbelts. Mr. Freeman sticks to his guns, denying paternity and recounting his limited and, according to him, protected interactions with Ms. Rayford. He recounts his generosity toward the child, but guess what? She's not buying it, and neither will you when you hear what comes next.
I'm here today to prove that I'm not Trina's baby daddy. Me and Trina was together. It was only just a fling. Trina was still having sex with multiple guys. She's obsessed.
He believes you are still having sex with other people.
No, it's not true. We met in December. We met on a dating site.
Cue the dramatic music. The debate zeroes in on when exactly Ms. Rayford got pregnant, with Mr. Freeman and Ms. Triplett challenging the timeline she proposes. This isn't just a paternity test. It's a full-blown soap opera.
How do we end up here?
I had to go to California and take care of some business. So we were living together at the time. He didn't have money for a plane ticket because we were in a child. It was not responsible to buy him a plane ticket where he didn't go, where he had a job.
So you're pregnant?
By this time, end of February, I'm pregnant.
Your Honor, she was not pregnant before she went to California.
Here's a plot twist. Ms. Rayford whips out a calendar to pinpoint the conception with some major personal events like birthdays and Valentine's Day. She's trying to map out a baby-making schedule. But hold your horses. The next revelation is a real jaw-dropper.
February 15th, I'm gonna use that date, my birthday, that we had sex, although it was a busy month.
Wait a minute, a busy month? How busy was it?
It was too busy. By the end of it, I was pregnant. I was finding out we was caught up. It was good. I ain't gonna lie. 2 minutes at a time is good. So I'm here. This is my punishment.
And now for the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Freeman, you are the father.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Dallas drags Mr. Stewart to court to sort out if he's the daddy of her little dude, Lamar. She's totally gobsmacked he's denying paternity, especially with his secret double life drama. Mr. Stewart's counter is a juicy one. He claims Ms. Dallas wasn't exactly playing house with just him, hinting that baby Lamar could have a different dad. Oh, the tea is just getting spilled. Keep your eyes peeled for what's coming.
You have dragged the defendant, Mr. Stewart, into court today to prove is the father of your newborn son, 1 month old. You say you are shocked that he's denying denying he's baby Lamar's biological dad, especially since you discovered he's the one a double life. You claim that it's Ms. Dallas who's been from Faithful, and you believe that baby Lamar's dad, any one of multiple men.
You're not gonna believe this scoop. Here's Ms. Dallas spilling how she met Mr. Stewart, leading to their casual fling, turning into breakfast dates and more. Turns out, Mr. Stewart was keeping a little something under wraps. Yep, he was married. When Ms. Dallas popped the big question, the crowd's gasp was louder than a dropped mic. Hold on to your popcorn, there's more drama ahead.
Up a couple of times. I'm tired of going to the room. You said you have a house, you own it. And he was like, you know, I have unwanted company there. So I'm like, unwanted company? I'm like, you got a girlfriend? He like, no. I'm like, you have a baby mom there? He like, no. I'm like, you got a wife? And then he was like, yeah. So he proceeded to tell me like, oh, they going through a divorce.
Check this out. Mr. Stewart lays it out plain. He didn't think his marital status was worth mentioning. Judge Lake isn't having any of it and schools him on why that's kinda a big deal, leading him to admit he was out there acting like he's single. Things are about to get even juicier, so don't blink.
Did you meet Miss Dallas, date her casually, have sex with her?
It didn't quite go like that.
How did it go?
You know, it didn't come up.
You were basically out acting like a single man.
I wouldn't act, yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
I'm glad you went on ahead and told the truth.
I had to think about it.
Oh, so you were out there acting like a single man, but you were married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Get ready for a curveball. After finding out Mr. Stewart was still hitched, Ms. Dallas thought about calling it quits, but life threw her a curveball. She was pregnant, with dreams of a happy home dancing in her head. Courtesy of Mr. Stewart's sweet nothings, she stayed. The roller coaster is just climbing. Watch for the drop.
We were living together, but we were having problems of our own.
Ms. Dallas found out he was married. Did you have second thoughts about dating a married man?
Yes, I did have second thoughts, but once everything slurred, like I was already pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I love Cedric. He was telling me like, I'm gonna do the divorce, we're gonna have a house, all this, we're gonna raise our son together. I was believing him because that's all I had to do was believe him.
Things are heating up. Just when you think it's sorted, in comes a plot twist. A pal starts whispering to Mr. Stewart that Ms. Dallas might have been playing the field when Lamar was conceived. Plus, Mr. Stewart doesn't think the kiddo looks like him. Strap in, this wild ride's about to get wilder.
He started out, so-called my associate, telling him and his wife that I was sleeping around with multiple men when I conceived Lamar.
Someone that knew you. They start giving you information.
But it was the same friend that sent him naked pictures of herself to him that I was sleeping around with somebody else, so why wouldn't say that she want to sleep with you?
Wait for it. The plot thickens with Mr. Stewart getting some scandalous pics from Ms. Dallas's so-called friend, who also accuses her of cheating. This bit of gossip makes the friend look shady and adds more fuel to the firestorm of paternity drama. Don't go anywhere. The next bit is a doozy.
Friends send you naked pictures, Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Your Honor. But that was like, that's one of my doubts.
What's your other doubt?
The other doubt was when he got here, he don't look like me. Look at his hair, he look mixed.
He don't look mixed. All babies come out with fine, pretty sure.
What point do you have to come clean with your wife about this baby?
I told her.
Picture of the...
Oh boy, here we go. Under the heat of the courtroom lights, Mr. Stewart fesses up about his current setup with Ms. Dallas. They're kinda, sorta, maybe living together, but not really. All while he's still legally married. Yep, his wife's right there in court too. The tension's thickening. Next up is a moment you'll have to see to believe.
So you and Ms. Dallas, you live together?
We kinda...
Well, what's that?
You know what I mean?
We live together, but we go back and forth.
We moved in together, but we go back and forth. Like, she done moved out, came
2
back.
days.
You know what I mean? And
are you all divorced or married?
legally, we're still married.
Ms. Stewart, what do you want? Do you want marriage to work? Are you...
Roberta knows what Roberta has to do for herself.
Guess what happens next? Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Stewart, you are the father.
Hey, I told you, baby. I told you.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Markham Love spills the beans about her rough childhood, including the jaw-dropper that Mr. Tucker might not be her dad. This bombshell was dropped on Mr. Tucker at a custody battle, turning his world upside down. You won't believe what's coming up next.
Markham Love, you're here because you claim your mother, Ms. Nasir, lost you to foster care and left you torn between fathers, including the defendant. Now, Mr. Tucker, you say a bomb was dropped on you when years ago you showed up to a court hearing to gain custody of Ms. Markham Love. You claimed that day her mother delivered the news to you that you may not be biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Get ready for a twist. Ms. Markham Love learned through the grapevine, aka her grandmother, about the possibility of Mr. Tucker not being her real dad. This left her feeling more mixed up than a blender on high. Just wait until you see what happens next. It's a doozy.
I don't have a close bond with her. I've been living from foster home to foster. I found out at 12 that Myron, Mr. Tucker, may not be my father.
Now, how did you find that out?
Shireen had told my grandma related to me.
And so when you heard that, what did you think?
I felt hurt, betrayed, and I'm lost with emotion.
You thought soap operas were dramatic? Wait until you see this. In a courtroom showdown, Ms. Nasirapur and Mr. Tucker go head-to-head over who the real daddy might be. She admitted she wasn't sure if Mr. Tucker was the father right in the middle of her pregnancy.
A letter in the mail stating that daughter was in foster care, and I went to Sacramento to go to court, try to get her. Nasirapur stood up and said that I might not be the father.
Your Honor, that's not true. 4 months pregnant, I told Myron it could be another man. I never gave no names. He left me and went to LA, supposedly.
I did not go
when
to
actually he was with his girlfriend time that was pregnant.
No.
Oh, the drama intensifies. The court debates why no one thought to do a paternity test when Ms. Markham Love was just a tot. This could have saved everyone a whole lot of headache. Stick around, because the next bit is even more jaw-dropping.
My mom told her.
No, she should have known way before this.
Way before what?
Like when she was a baby.
No,
she
you don't understand that you're a child.
Baby.
Maybe you don't understand.
No, I'm talking about a baby.
She would grow up knowing who her biological
Pay for
father
it.
was.
I'm paying child support still.
Pay for it. If I would have known, I would have paid for it then.
You knew when she was 12. You said it still isn't done.
Wait.
She's 22 years old now.
12 years old. Where was she at?
Grab your popcorn. Mr. Tucker lays his heart on the line, claiming Ms. Markham Love as his daughter, no matter what the tests say. His emotional plea tugs at the heartstrings. But hold on to your seats. This roller coaster's got more twists coming.
So in your mind, you were father. There was no reason to take a test.
Exactly. That's the way I feel
so
right now.
once you heard this in court,
at 7 years old,
did you say, I'd like a test now?
No.
At that point, why not? You just said.
said...
Because I feel in my heart that she's mine.
All right.
Here's where it gets even spicier. Ms. Markham Love walks us through her childhood memories with Mr. Tucker and the bumpy road after she entered foster care. It's more tangled than last year's Christmas lights. You won't want to miss what's up next. It's a real kicker.
Was he involved in your life at all as a child?
Growing up, I was living in Bakersfield with him, and then when I turned 5, we moved to Sacramento, and when I got put in foster care at 7, he was granted visitations with me, and the last time I seen him was when I was 9. From 9 to 16, I did not see him.
Things just got real. Dive deeper into the soap opera-worthy lives of Ms. Nasirapur and Mr. Tucker, featuring secret marriages and hidden affairs. It's messier than a toddler with spaghetti.
There's a whole lot more to this story than what she's saying.
Been in this relationship, but it's true. You were living with them as a family, and then you disappeared. You went and got married to someone else?
Yes.
How could you disappear like that and
Not
go
once,
marry
but
someone
twice.
else?
Trying to put this on me,
Not
but
once,
you're
twice.
talking about you cheated on me with a pizza guy though.
You were in LA.
Hold on to your coffee, folks. Ms. Nasirapur opens up about her rocky past, including a stint in the Slammer, hoping to patch things up with her daughter. It's as heart-wrenching as a season finale. What's next? It's sure to crank up the drama.
I made a lot of mistakes.
I can tell you love your daughter.
I do love my daughter, but you know what? I went to prison. I've done a lot of bad things. I forgave myself. I got out, I asked her for, when she's ready to forgive me. She said she did forgive me. I had to earn that. I'm sure I had to earn that. Trying my best. But if I was on drugs and I was dope fiend, Myron, then you should have stepped up and hurt if I was doing so bad.
Can you handle more? Ms. Markham Love shares her deep need for closure about who her real dad is. It's like the final puzzle piece she's been missing. Brace yourself. The truth bomb about to drop is epic.
You knew this man to be your father your whole life, and then you realized he may not be. What do you hope for today?
I just want closure. If Mr. Tucker is my father, I know his family. If Mr. Goldstein is my father, I would want to know his.
Are you ready for the big reveal?
As it pertains to 22-year-old Britt Markham Love, Mr. Tucker, you are not her father.
Wow.
Buckle up. Here we go. Ms. Myers steps up to claim that Mr. Black is the father of her little dude, Logan, all thanks to their past fling. She's pretty miffed because after initially playing dad, Mr. Black has ghosted them. Just wait until you hear Mr. Black's side of the story. It's a doozy.
Ms. Myers, you say 4 years ago you had a relationship with Mr. Black that resulted in the birth of your son, Logan. You claim that after initially acting your son, Mr. Black turned his back on you and started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold the phone. Mr. Black fires back, labeling their brief encounter as just a casual fling and slams Ms. Myers as an opportunist. He's adamant that he's not Logan's dad, blaming his doubts on her alleged promiscuity. Boy, oh boy. Wait till you see what's coming next.
Mr. Black, you state only a 2-week fling with Ms. Myers while she's cheating on her boyfriend. You say Ms. Myers is promiscuous opportunist and you will prove are not her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your tissues. Ms. Myers paints a sad picture of little Logan, who thinks Mr. Black is his real dad. She talks about how Mr. Black missing out on big moments like birthday parties has really bummed the kid out.
So when it's Logan's first day of school, he'll ask, where's Tyrell?
Because he thinks Mr. Black is biological father. That's what you've told him.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a lot of doubt on the reason why I'm not the father compared to what Jasmine had done with a lot of shady things that made me believe I am not father. So
he doesn't show up for his day parties. He promised Logan that he would come to our birthday party and he did not show up. So Logan was very upset.
You're not gonna believe this. Here they go bickering bickering about how long they were actually an item. Mr. Black is sticking to his 2-week story, but Ms. Myers insists they were practically an old married couple for months.
We met on Facebook. We went to the same high school.
So you went to high school together, and then you reconnected on Facebook.
Yes.
And then what happened? That turned into dating, a relationship?
Into dating. We were talking like we were talking for almost like 3 months before Tyrell went back to his other child's mother. And then he accused me of cheating and lying. It was not 2 weeks. It was more than.
It was a 2-week fling.
Wait, what now? A major bomb drops about when Mr. Black got the news of the pregnancy. Ms. Myers says she told him early on, but he claims it was way later, fueling his paternity doubts. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more tangled,
she was about 8 months pregnant, and I got a courtesy call at work.
A courtesy call?
Yes,
That's not true.
Calling you to let you know I'm pregnant. Don't worry, you're not father. It's my boyfriend, baby.
That's not
I just want to know just in case you hear something in the street.
I texted him and told him that I was sick. He told me, well, maybe you should go to the doctor. So I ended up going to the doctor and finding out that I was actually pregnant.
Oh, snap! Ms. Myers accuses Mr. Black of bailing and going AWOL once the baby news hit. This guy apparently started fading into the mist, leaving her to handle everything solo. But there's more to this soap opera, so don't go anywhere.
Myers, Mr. Black just testified clearly. He did not even know you were until you were 8 months pregnant when you called courtesy call.
That's a lie. What it is, he doesn't want to know that he has 3 different kids, 3 different women.
That doesn't bother me. If that was the case, we could have been.
And he doesn't want the world till he has another child by another woman.
Are you kidding me? At the hospital, Mr. Black gets what he calls a courtesy call, then gets the cold shoulder and can't visit Ms. Myers because her current beau is there. This saga has more twists than a pretzel. What's next is just wild.
Same day she had a yarn, I was actually at work on my lunch break, and I got a phone call saying, hey, the hospital, I'm in labor, I'm about to have him. At the same time, I got approval to get off of work to the hospital to see him. When I got there, they told me I was not allowed to see it because she refused to have me come in the room because her boyfriend at the time was there.
This just keeps getting juicier. Despite all the drama, Ms. Myers stands firm that Mr. Black is the daddy, based on their intimate past and Logan's resemblance to him. Brace yourself, because the truth bomb is about to drop.
I'm 100% that he's his dad. Like, I slept with nobody else. He looks just like him. He's lactose intolerant.
What that got to do with it?
That's usually something that's hereditary.
I'm still stuck at lactose. I don't think that's sufficient evidence, Ms. Myers.
Here comes the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Black, you are the father.
Can I see him?
Hold on to your popcorn. This just got real spicy. Miss Bargy drops the bomb about her love triangle gone wrong, creating a daddy dilemma with her hubby and her ex, each thinking he's fathered her 2-month-old mini-me, McKenna. She's crossing her fingers that the DNA test swings in her hubby's favor to glue her marriage back together. But keep your eyes peeled because the next scene cranks up the heat.
You admit cheated on your husband and now are caught in a paternity triangle, with both men believing they fathered your 2-month-old daughter, McKenna.
Yes, sir.
You are hoping today's DNA result prove that your husband is her father so you can save your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
You think that's wild? Check this out. Mr. Bargy pours his heart out about his bond with McKenna, sharing those sweet daddy-daughter moments that tug at your heartstrings. He's all in, hoping the test proves he's the real dad. As he gushes about his baby girl, the room's thick with anticipation. Stick around, because the plot's about to thicken.
I could be at work for 10 to 12 hours a day. I take 5 minutes out of my time, busy or not at work, video call, sit here, I wake her up when I get home. As soon as she hears my voice, she's smiling. And as soon as she hears the car pull in.
Your baby, in your heart, that's your baby.
That is my baby.
And you are hoping that today's result affirm that.
Just when you think it's calming down, bam, another curveball. Mr. Lawson reminisces about his happy days, thinking he was starting a fam with Miss Bargy. As the courtroom drama unfolds, it's clear this paternity puzzle has more pieces than they thought. The upcoming twist, you won't see it coming.
Thoughts I was happy because me and her talked family, a life together.
This is the start of the family you two said you wanted together.
Yes, ma'am.
This baby. Ms. Bargy, at that time, did you also know that your husband could potentially be the father?
At first, I thought it was Calvin for sure. Then going back dates and everything, things started to not add up.
Can you believe this mess? Out comes a twist you wouldn't expect in a daytime drama. Miss Bargy never even told her hubby she was pregnant. Instead, a nosy pal spills the beans, leading to a showdown that adds another layer of messy to this already sticky situation. Fasten your seatbelts. It's about to get bumpier.
I did not tell my husband, period. He had a mutual friend that was on my Facebook. They had actually sent him a picture posting an ultrasound, and then he started contacting me and talked to him and tell him I am pregnant. And then we started talking about the dates and everything, and even Mr. Bargy had stated that he'd be the father as well because of the dates.
Yikes, talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Miss Bargy debates the daddy drama, really hoping her hubby is the father so they can ditch the drama and play happy families. She makes a strong case for her hubby over Mr. Lawson, who's been kinda MIA on the dad front. But don't wander off. The big reveal is next, and it's a doozy.
Have you thought about the result? If Mr. Lawson is McKenna's biological father, have you thought about where you go from here?
If Mr. Lawson is her father, I do not want him to be a part of her life, period. Like, I want rights terminated because my daughter deserves so better. My husband has been there and took care of her since all this has happened. He has been an amazing father, and McKenna deserves so much better.
Ready for the jaw dropper?
Biological father is Mr. Lawson. You are McKenna's biological father, Mr. Lawson.
So, check this out. Ms. Alston spills the beans that she really wants her little one, Jasmine, to have a dad in her life because she didn't have one while growing up. It's a heart tugger because she's all about making sure her daughter doesn't miss out on having a dad. Buckle up. The next bit is a doozy.
Of Alston versus Jones, Delk, and Harrison.
Ms. Alston, you say for the past 2 years been living in uncertainty and confusion. You're not sure which of 3 men fathered your 2-year-old daughter, Jasmine, and say you grew up without a father and don't want the same for your little girl.
Which is correct.
You're not going to believe this. Ms. Alston lays it all out about her roller coaster love life, admitting she got busy with 3 dudes in just 2 weeks. She talks about her main squeezes and a little whoopsie in the form of a fling, setting up a real soap opera vibe.
Well, basically, Your Honor, I did have sex with all 3 men within a 2-week period of time. But out of the 3 men, I did have a relationship with 2, Joe Jr. and Mr. Jones right here. I met Mr. Jones back in high school. We dated for 2.5 years. I did, however, a few months after the relationship, I did cheat and I told him of.
Oh man, you gotta hear this. In a total plot twist, Ms. Alston and Mr. Jones get into the nitty-gritty of how she dropped the pregnancy bomb on him, stirring up all kinds of drama with a side of doubt about who the daddy could be. Hold on to your popcorn, because this soap opera is just getting spicy.
Here's how she told me she was pregnant. She said to me, "How would you feel if you're not the dad?"
That's not how I told you. I told you after the test that you may not be the father.
There was no test to begin with.
Prior to your pregnancy, did you tell him he may not be the father?
I think I was about past the 3 months.
Did she really just say that? Ms. Childs throws a curveball into the story, contradicting Ms. Alston's version of the birthday drama, revealing she was actually texted to bring the son to the hospital. The plot thickens, and you'll want to stick around for the next twist.
Miss Ashley, she texted me the day of, letting me know it was happening right then. Can I bring my son there to the hospital? For her to stand here and say she didn't know he was going to be there, that is a complete and flat out lie.
No, it's not.
That's why I went and I picked him up from school and I brought him there.
Things are heating up now. Ms. Alston talks about how Jasmine is practically being raised by a village, with grandparents stepping in big time, despite the daddy drama. It's touching but messy, and guess what? The next part will make your head spin.
You have helped, yes. Robert, no. Right now, if I had to sign my daughter over, I would either sign it to you, Miss Tina, or to Mr. Harrison, to Robert at all.
The reason why I haven't done anything for Jasmine as of yet, I've been wanting a DNA for Jasmine's whole life right now. Like my mother just said, every time it came down to do something, she would go part, but once it's time for us to actually do it.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Delk steps into the spotlight, talking about his brief but memorable cameo in Ms. Alston's life and his major role in Jasmine's world. He's been playing dad, even though the paternity is all up in the air. Don't go anywhere. The reveal is up next, and it's a tearjerker.
Openly admitted in court today that she was intimate with 3 different men during the time of conception, one of which
started watching her in June. This was when you was doing your little paperwork and trying to find a job and everything. Basically, what was going on was, like you say, we wasn't never no boyfriend. It was one night stand.
You had a one-night stand.
That's it, one night.
Grab the tissues, folks. Mr. Delk makes a heartfelt declaration about his bond with Jazz, saying he's her dad, DNA or no DNA. It's super sweet and shows just how deep his feelings go. Brace yourself. The grand finale is about to drop, and it's a big one.
Today, Mr. Delk, do you want Jasmine to be your biological daughter?
She's my daughter regardless. The first person she gonna run to, probably past the grandmama, but she definitely will come for dad. I mean, she will, if I walk out that door, she will holler for me.
What are your hopes? It's like I from the beginning to Miss Ashley. Either way it goes, if she is my son, and that means I am her biological grandmother, or if she's not.
You're not ready for this. The big moment arrives, and bam.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Delk.
Guess who's back? Again, Judge Lake opens the case by reminding Mr. Scott that this isn't his first rodeo in her courtroom. He's been here before, once proving he was the dad and once not. The judge seems half amused, half exasperated by his now 3rd appearance. 5th child with a 5th woman, despite already having 7 kids with 4 others. He strongly denies being the dad of the latest edition, showing signs of frustration and fatigue with these ongoing accusations.
You argue that the only reason he's denying daughter is because he can no longer control you.
Money Matters just entered the chat. Ms. Smith, the mother of the alleged 8th child, accuses Mr. Scott of conning her into paying for his travel expenses. She's gunning for $2,500 back for flights and hotels.
I met her on the website. You know, I was looking for love, and I went to a website, ran into Crystal.
Trust issues, table for two. As they air their dirty laundry, both parties accuse each other of cheating. Mrs. Smith had given Mr. Scott access to her voicemail, where he heard other dudes. This revelation turns up the heat on their already fiery dispute. And they finally meet. Spoiler, it's not pretty. After an 8-month online romance, Mr. Scott and Ms. Wood Smith meet face to face.
I paid for the whole trip for him to come here the first time, and then for his ride here. No, he did not.
She paid for me to come back.
I paid for all our food, our hotel.
You didn't have to pay for food. We was getting the food
gas.
from your job.
He told me that he's basically this big rich person, Hollywood.
I ain't never said
that. He had a big house on the beach. That he had.
Song before. She challenges his sincerity, suggesting a pattern of not so great relationship choices.
Time you appear courtroom, you said exact same.
Just went off the deep end. Mr. Scott pulls out all the stops with mind games to confirm Ms. Smith's unfaithfulness, adding another layer of complication to their twisted tale. His sneaky tactics reveal a major point of contention. The judge examines the evidence, highlighting the disparity in what Ms. Smith shelled out versus Mr. Scott's claims.
Or some type that outlines what paid for hotel expenses for $461. Surely the big man California didn't ride bus all the way to.
Drum roll, please.
Mr. Scott, you are.
Guess who's coming to dinner? Mr. Angelier claims Miss Vargas was still Mrs. Somebody Else, and they started their little rendezvous and she got pregnant. He tells us she first said, "No, not your kid," but later flipped the script after her marriage hit the bricks. Miss Vargas fesses up to trying to save her sinking ship of a marriage by fibbing, but now wants to prove Mr. A is indeed the daddy.
Claim the defendant, Ms. Vargas, was married and having an affair with you when she got pregnant. You say she initially told you that you were not father of her 11-month-old son, but dropped the bomb that the child wasn't yours after her marriage was over. Ms. Vargas, you admit you lied to Mr. Angelieri because you say you were trying to save your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Spill the beans, Mr. Angelier. He tells us how he and Miss Vargas went from sharing office gossip to sharing more personal stuff. They started as work pals, graduated to drinking buddies, and one thing led to another. Bam! Next thing you know, they're more than just friends. He spills that all this kicked off after she told him her marriage was kaput. Keep your eyes peeled because what's coming up will make your jaw drop.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, Miss and I, we were never in a relationship. We worked together. We were good friends. She would come to me to confide with me over her rocky relationship that she had with her husband. That's what happened at first. Then a few weeks later, came in, said it's the last straw. I'm completely done with them. Next thing you know, we became better friends. She had brought her kids over a few times. We'd go out at night. We started drinking a lot together.
Oh snap, did she just say that? In a heated moment, Miss Vargas accuses Mr. Angelier of plotting to plant the pregnancy. The audience and Judge Lake are not having it. Cue the courtroom crackdown with stalking accusations and heated words flying. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started. You won't want to miss what happens next. It's a wild ride.
That night when we, had sexual intercourse, planned to get me pregnant. I feel like you did.
Oh, no, that's a lie.
Hold on. That night, Your Honor, I feel like from the beginning, he's always stalked me. Even my friends at work would always tell me, he's looking at you again.
Said the same thing to me.
Who's the daddy? The plot thickens as they dive into the daddy debate. Was it the estranged hubby or Mr. Angelier during the conception conundrum? This segment sifts through the timelines and Miss Vargas's strategic maneuvers as her marriage crumbles.
Your Honor, at the time, we were separate.
So you two were intimate?
Yes, just once.
And then you found out you were pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you also?
Yes, Your Honor. A month before me and him had sexual intercourse, me and my husband were still.
Had been intimate with your husband and also Mr. Angelieri?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Hold the phone, he's got a hunch. Mr. Angelier gets all sentimental when he spots a pic of the kid, reigniting his daddy instincts. He's back in the game, folks, determined to find out if he's the father. This heartfelt revelation sets the stage for some serious courtroom drama, so don't go anywhere. It's about to get even juicier.
No, I didn't even talk to her because I have 2 kids that live in Washington State. When she told me there's no chance, kid is yours, there's no way at all. Long term, when I was trying to get back up to Seattle to be with my other 2 children. I didn't want to get in a serious relationship or have any kids.
Like I said, I was trying to save my marriage. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to do the thing, and I felt like I was doing the right thing.
The DNA results are in, and guess what?
11-month-old Giovanni Vargas. Mr. Angelieri, you are father.
Thank you so much.
You're not gonna believe this one. Miss Tori steps up with a zinger, accusing Mr. Goodson of bailing on being the dad to her 2 ankle biters, while Miss Henderson isn't having any of it either, claiming he's dodging daddy duties for her 4-year-old tyke too. They're both gunning for DNA tests and some wallet opening from Mr. Goodson. The courtroom's heating up with all these spicy accusations. Buckle up, there's more drama ahead.
Miss Tori claimed the defendant is denying he is father of your 2 kids. And Miss Henderson, you state Mr. Goodson refuses to take responsibility for your old daughter. daughter. You have both asked the court to award paternity tests and enforce his financial obligation as a father.
Check out this curveball. Mr. Goodson throws a soft pitch, hoping the tests prove he's the papa, despite rumors he's been playing the field. And Miss Henderson, she's calling foul, saying the player might have hit a home run with her and his cousin around the same bases. This tangled love triangle's got more twists than a pretzel factory, and it's only getting twistier from here.
Additionally, you state Miss Henderson slept with you and your cousin in the same time frame, and therefore you can't be sure
which was a lie.
Her daughter is yours.
My story is that I went on a chat line one day. I met his cousin on the chat line. He know that was just looking for someone to hang out with on, a regular basis.
Oh boy, grab your popcorn. So, Miss Henderson spills the beans about a date gone wild, featuring a getaway car that was more stolen than borrowed. Yep, their night out flashed red and blue as the cops crashed their party. Talk about a bad first impression. Keep watching. It's about to go off the rails.
I'm like, yeah, you come see me, what's up? So he came to see me in the Stolo, which they call down in St. Louis. It's a stolen car. So he come picks me up in the Stolo. I'm getting dressed or whatnot. I'm looking out the window. He like, yeah, boo, I'm out. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze. Get out the car. I'm like, really? You came to pick me up in the stolen car? Really? Right.
I don't know nothing about that.
This part's a real soap opera. Just when you thought it couldn't get soapier, in walks Mr. Thomas, another potential baby daddy in the saga of Miss Henderson's little one. Is he the father, or is it Mr. Goodson? It's like Maury Povich in here, but with more legal jargon. Don't touch that dial. The paternity puzzle isn't solved just yet.
It's like a one-night thing. You know how it be some night, might get drunk, be with somebody, might turn you on, just happen.
Right.
Okay, so it's a one-night stand. So either you or your cousin Goodson father.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the big reveal time. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined that when it comes to 4-year-old Lazasia, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a wild kickoff, Mr. Matlock spills the tea that he had to dip out for family stuff a while back. While he was gone, claims Ms. Monroe got a bit too cozy and invited her old flame to crash at their pad. This drama sets up a wild ride of a court case. Just wait, it gets even crazier from here.
Mr. Matlock,
yes, ma'am.
You say that a few years back you were suddenly called away at family business.
Yes,
While
Your Honor.
absent, you claim the defendant, Ms. Monroe, invited her former lover to move into your family home.
Your Honor, that's correct.
Hold on to your popcorn, folk. After Mr. Matlock comes back and forgives Ms. Monroe, they get back to business as usual. Boom, she hits him with news of a bun in the oven, and oh, maybe it's not his. What comes next will have you picking your jaw off the floor.
Upon your return, you say you gave her and resumed your sexual relationship.
Yes.
But then she dropped the bombshell that she was in, and you might not be the father of her child.
Things heat up as Ms. Monroe admits she's really not sure who the daddy is. She defends her sketchy moves by saying Mr. Matlock ghosted her the whole time he was gone, making her think he was out for good. The tea gets even hotter in the next bit.
You admit that you have serious about the paternity of your child. Well, you argue that when Mr. Matt left family business, he stopped answering your phone calls, texts for an entire month.
Your Honor.
That's not correct.
In your defense, you say you believe he was never coming back again.
Yes, Your Honor.
As they dive into their rocky past, Mr. Matlock lays out all their dirty laundry, questioning the trust and loyalty in their relationship. The back and forth about his trip and her moving the ex in just adds more spice to the drama stew. Buckle up, because the next part is a doozy.
Back in 2006, when me and Monroe first got together, she knew I was back and forth from Fort Smith to Fayetteville because I had for a week.
No.
Yeah, no, it was a week. You're lying.
You were gone a month.
Anyway, Your Honor,
You were gone a month.
when I was gone for a week,
No,
she moved her ex into our home. In 1 week, Your Honor.
At what point do you find that she's moved another man into the house?
From her.
Yikes! Talk about a communication fail. Mr. Matlock apparently turned into a ghost, not answering calls, which Ms. Monroe says led her to shuffle her ex into their home. The mess just snowballs from here, leading to an even bigger facepalm moment.
He never answered my calls. Went on for a whole month.
What number you
And
called?
so-
Mr. Matlock, were you getting phone calls from Monroe and not answering?
No, Your Honor, I her when I called her, but I don't feel like when I'm spending time with my son, I should have to drop her
Still have
every
to talk
waking
to me. If
minute.
I'm your
'cause
girlfriend, you
she's
should care.
jealous
I'm
that
not-
I'm with
if you would've gave me a
every
reason,
woman
then I
on
wouldn't
the
have
block.
In a what were you thinking moment, Ms. Monroe confirms she did indeed move her ex into their love nest when Mr. Matlock went AWOL. This bombshell obviously complicates things big time once Mr. Matlock returns. Grab your snacks, because this next revelation is a hoot.
Mr. Matlock, you returned home.
Put her ex out, talked on the phone
Because I
about
wanted
the
you.
situation.
I didn't want him.
I had feelings for her. I've been knowing her since we were 12, 13. So I felt something about her. So we worked out the whole situation. I eventually moved back in the house, picking up a sexual relationship with her again.
Just when you think things couldn't get more bonkers, Ms. Monroe drops a bomb. Mr. Matlock might not be the daddy. This plot twist kicks off a wild ride through paternity court. Keep watching because the fallout is just too good to miss.
Am I the father of the child? Who's
And
the
I
baby
was
daddy?
honored, right?
She
And
looked
what
at
did
me
she say?
and
I was
said,
honored.
"You're not father." Can't make it up. That's what she said. You are not the father. So I'm not taking care of somebody else's baby, and you tell me that that baby is not my baby.
So-
You didn't say that. You are not the father.
Get this, Mr. Matlock ends up on the hook for child support because he missed his court date. Talk about a bad day getting worse. The financial and emotional roller coaster that ensues is something straight out of a soap opera. The climax is just around the corner, and it's a big one.
Saying I missed my court date and I was fathered by the father. I have evidence to prove that, Your Honor.
When that court date came up, Mr. Matlock, you're saying you never got
No,
notice
ma'am.
of when your court date
No, ma'am.
was. So you didn't show you weren't there. You were determined to be the
I am
father.
the father. By
And
default.
you have
So
some
that makes-
paperwork.
And here it is, the moment of truth.
When it comes 5-year-old Kenya, you are not.
I knew it. Put somebody else on child support. I want my money back.
All right, buckle up for this one. Mr. Dansby finally spills why he took forever to ask for a DNA test. He blames Miss Simpson's web of lies and a mysterious other dude for his doubts about being little Denoris's daddy. The plot thickens, so stick around.
The reason why it took 3 years, man, because Miss Simpson, she had been lying to me. It was so much shade. She had another dude who she was dealing with. I mean, it was one in the morning I had caught.
No, what it was that I had been trying to get you to do a DNA test, but you chose to run. You didn't want to go to the child support place, do the DNA test.
Here comes Mr. Dansby trying to wiggle his way out of this pickle. The judge grills him on why it took him so long to reach out to his maybe son Denoris. Mr. Dansby blames Miss Simpson for playing keep away, which he says stopped him from connecting with the kiddo. Hold on, it's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Dansby, let me ask you this though. What have you made to try to get the DNA test?
Well, Your Honor, it was times where I had reached out to Miss Simpson. I had got in contact with Miss Simpson through phone. It was so much as my son. Why you brought the kid around me? Carol, another
Why
man
should
like
I have to bring you?
Nobody made enough of an effort to get a DNA test. That's why you're here today.
You're not gonna believe this. Mr. Dansby dishes out a soap opera-worthy morning tale where he finds out another guy is in the picture right as he's sending the kids off to school. The drama's not stopping here. Keep watching.
Man, we met through a mutual friend. She moved me into her home where she was staying there with her other two kids. Miss Simpson had another man who she was dealing with. I was getting her kids ready for school. I got them on the school bus. Miss Simpson was taking a shower that morning. I just so happened caught the phone call. It was another dude. He was shocked to hear me.
I don't
was
recall
shocked
of
to hear
that.
him. And she told me that it was the dude that was phone bill.
No.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more dramatic, Miss Simpson goes feeling all queasy, and boom, a pregnancy test turns positive. Mr. Dansby's suspicion meter goes through the roof because, let's face it, the timing's as shady as a large oak tree. Don't go anywhere. The roller coaster's just hitting the big drop.
After the strange phone call, she had went to visit her dad in her hometown, where he from, which is Vidalia, Georgia. Okay, we went down there. She said she was feeling sick that particular day.
And I
we went to
was.
the pharmacy. She went and took a pregnancy test. She said it came out to find out that she was pregnant. I immediately
From the beginning.
If you had your doubt, if you
from the
didn't think that this baby was yours, why did you so-called put on like you was happy?
Grab your popcorn, folks. Mr. Dansby pulls out a timeline that's more tangled than last year's Christmas lights. He's connecting dots, pointing fingers, and making sure everyone knows just how mixed up this whole story is. What's next? More bombshells, obviously.
This is my timeline.
Outlines all of the lies.
We met through a friend.
In November 2011, that's when you got the old man phone call.
Yes, I got the phone call from the old dude. He was shocked to hear me just like I was shocked to hear from him.
She announces the pregnancy.
She announced that she told everyone she was pregnant. I had my doubts about that, about her being
So
pregnant.
you were doubtful again if there was something shady going on then too.
Here's a heart tugger. Mr. Dansby meets his potential mini-me for the first time, and it's as awkward as a high school dance. He's feeling all the feels, but mostly confusion and distance, because, well, he's been out of the loop for 3 whole years. Fasten your seatbelts. We're diving deeper.
October 2014, when you
October
say it's the
2014.
first time you met Denoris, what was shady about that?
That was my first time ever seeing tonight. Feel like if she's so confident about this, my son, why it took for me 3 years for me to see tonight?
But I got evidence that
okay, we did
you
take
put
a
on
picture.
Facebook. It is a picture of him snoring.
Things are heating up. Miss Simpson and Mr. Dansby go head-to-head like two rams fighting over who made less effort to get in touch. It's a back and forth of you didn't call me first. That's sure to get some eye rolls and laughs.
I really do feel deep down that she was me, man.
Dodge you for what? Why would I want to dodge you?
Because you had me lying.
Child that need a father when my child need a father.
My dad wasn't there for me when I was a kid. So I take this very I do want Tanara to know that who his father is. I do want to be his father.
Because you don't want that cycle.
Because I want the kids of my own. I got 3 girls.
Now we're talking turkey, money. The judge breaks down who paid what for Denoris's upkeep, and let's just say it's not adding up for everyone. Mr. Dansby's been sending cash via paycheck garnishments documents, but Miss Simpson says it's not enough. Get ready, the verdict's about to drop, and it's a biggie.
Now, you came to court suing $3,361.56. You do acknowledge you've received $240 from Mr. Dansby.
Yes, Your Honor.
So for that reason, the court can award you $3,121.56 child rearing expenses.
Buckle up, folks. Ray kicks things off with a bang, claiming her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, is definitely the dad of her grown son. She's here to prove it once and for all, spicing up the court with her determination and the juicy details of their past. And folks, it gets even juicier from here.
Mr. Ray, you are in court to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, that is the biological father of your adult son, Von Lacey. You state that the defendant has been an absentee father full of excuses, and you want it all to end today in court with the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it heats up. Trayvon, the son in question, throws down the gauntlet, calling Mr. Lacey an absentee dad, loaded with excuses. He's all fired up, wanting today to be the day they end this drama and get to the truth. Hang tight. The courtroom's about to turn into a sauna.
Well, it's not fair to my son, and he really needs a man up, because he's depriving my child of a father. He is the father of my son.
You believe that you are not Trayvon's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
Believe that from the beginning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Just when you think it couldn't get more tangled, it's revealed Mr. Lacey's name is on the birth certificate. Talk about a plot thickener. This twist adds layers of mystery and potential chaos. You won't believe how they try to unravel this knot.
So this birth certificate, child's name, Trayvon Lacey, father's name, Larry Lacey, but it's typed in. Was he present at the birth?
He was not present, no.
You basically just gave them his name.
I gave him his name because...
And they typed it in.
Yeah.
Things just got real. Mr. Lacey shares his shocker moment when he first found out about the paternity claim, leading to a surprise invitation to child support court. It's like a soap opera with legal jargon, and trust me, the drama is only ramping up from here.
Mr. Lacey, when did you find out that she claimed were Trayvon's biological father?
I say Trayvon probably was about between 3 and 6 months years old. I received court paper, State of Ohio Child Support Court. Me and Miss Torrey, we did both appear at the Child Support Court. When I walked into the court, the judge, he looked at me, he said, "That's your son, you have nothing to say."
As the plot thickens, the court digs into the child support dough Mr. Lacey has been shelling out. He confirms he's been paying up, despite the daddy drama. This bit is crucial because it sets the stage for some major emotional fireworks that are about to blast off.
And his court papers say paying child support. You
Yes,
pay
and
child support.
I have proof that, Your Honor.
But Your Honor, I want to put this to bed. I'm tired of reliving that. You know, okay, I made a mistake. What is even a mistake? I was just living on my own. And he just keep throwing his man in my over and making my son feel bad. I'm ready to put it to bed. That's what I wanted, and get on with our life.
Feel the tension in the air? Both sides are worn out from the drama and just want to know if Mr. Lacey is really the pops. It's a tug of war with emotions, and everyone's on edge. But hold on to your seats because the truth bomb is about to drop.
Nor is my intention to make Mr. Torrey feel bad. The thing I want to know is the truth.
There is, in fact, a real question of paternity. Both sides acknowledge. You presented this evidence to the court, which indicates that you owe $37,200 and some odd dollars in child support.
You're down to $5,000.
You've got about $5,800.
Get ready for some gossip. Ray spills the tea on how she and Mr. Lacey first got together, complete with the steamy details of their early flings. It's a real tell-all moment that sheds light on their rocky romance. And folks, you're gonna want to stick around for the blockbuster DNA reveal.
I just moved in town. I got my new apartment. I was feeling all grown in my apartment, doing grown stuff in my grown. Well, I didn't find out until I went to the OBGYN, and at that time he had told me that I was like 12 to 14 weeks already into my pregnancy. And he was the only man I had sex in that time frame. Because I didn't know nobody else.
Pregnant. We had only been together for no more than a month. How could Trayvon be my child?
Here it comes.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lacey, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I told you. Now stand up, give my son his respect.
Get ready for a wild ride. The show kicks off with the judge diving straight into the drama, asking Ms. Butler to spill the beans about whether Mr. Wilson really is little Nyona's dad. Ms. Butler is all in, totally convinced that Nyona is his kiddo, setting us up for a roller coaster of a court session. You're not going to want to miss what comes next.
Or we go through all the trouble of hearing a ton of testimony. Why don't you just be honest, Ms. Butler, and let us know whether you really believe Mr. Wilson is Nyona's biological father?
I really feel like she she's his. I do.
Things are heating up. Ms. Butler is sure that Nyona belongs to Mr. Wilson, but kind of wobbly about Zaria. This confession stirs up a whole pot of questions about both kids and what Mr. Wilson's deal is with them. Hang on, because it's about to get even juicier.
If you had to doubt one of the children, you really didn't know if Zariah's his, but Nyana you're pretty confident about.
Nyana's definitely yours.
You said that about the other one.
We just heard that same testimony, didn't we, Jerome?
Did thought both of the kids was yours. We always had sex without no condom.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. The judge isn't pulling any punches, calling out Ms. Butler on her questionable mothering skills amid all the chaos. This serious chat really digs into the family mess and what's expected of a mom in this courtroom. And guess what? It only gets wilder from here.
Because I want to get the information on Nyana because I do want her to know who her biological father is. I'm disappointed, Ms. Butler. You a mother.
No, she's not at all. Don't have a clue what being the mother is.
I do love my kids.
Don't have
though.
a clue what being the mother.
And I do want to do better. I actually do.
Can you believe this? We dive into the soap opera of their relationship when Nyona was conceived. Mr. Wilson paints a picture of a not-so-cozy love nest with Ms. Butler, complete with other dudes and sneaky moves, complicating the whole "who's your daddy?" question.
What was this relationship then?
She was living in an apartment, so I would come over periodically, check on the kids, and we might have sex sometime. But everybody in the apartment talking about everybody running out the house, and I caught a guy over there one time. I knocked on the door. She's trying to hide a dude in the bathroom. Multiple occasions.
There was not no multiple occasions.
Guys.
You only seen one.
I only seen it one time, but everybody tell me.
Boom! Drama bomb dropped. Mr. Wilson catches another guy at Ms. Butler's place right when Nyona might have been made. This juicy bit shakes up the whole paternity claim Ms. Butler has been making.
Just been my past. Then the guys in the apartment telling me
He just been thinking and guessing.
I ain't been guessing.
That's all he been doing.
People don't know me like that. They wouldn't lie to me. Man, your baby mama, man, she gonna have this dude, that dude, you know.
So, Mr. Wilson, what happened when you found out pregnant with Nyana?
I told her it wasn't my baby.
You gotta see this. The judge tackles the sad reality that Mr. Wilson isn't really playing dad to Nyona, pointing out how this could mess up the little one. This heart-to-heart is all about how important it is for a dad to be in the picture. The next clip is a real tearjerker, or maybe not.
What kind of relationship does she have with Mr. Wilson?
None at all. He don't really come by to see her. Nothing really.
Can't come by. Too many men running in and out. Can't come by. I'm scared to go over there. I took him from her house and moved him in with me. I didn't want them kids to be around that man.
So you have the two kids,
my two kids
with your last name.
Yeah.
It's crunch time. As we gear up for the big DNA reveal, the room's buzzing with tension. The judge lays down the law, schooling both parents on how they're messing up big time. And just when you think it can't get more intense, we're about to drop the big news.
We're gonna find out right now because I'm about sick of y'all. I really am. This is just so ragged.
Yeah, it is ragged.
No, it really is. And you sitting up in here just talking like you on a playground somewhere. No, what? And listen to me. Stomach growing instead of your mind.
Here comes the moment of truth. The results are in, and bam.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are the father.
Mr. Lillard spills the beans on why he had to drag this case into court, all because of a bombshell message last year from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son, Delvin Holt. Ms. Holt vents about her 20-year struggle to get Mr. Lillard to step up and take responsibility for Delvin. The segment wraps up with the judge seeking confirmation on the day's agenda, and Ms. Holt is like, "Yep, that's the plan, Your Honor."
Mr. Lillard, you say you were forced to open this case after receiving a message last year from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son, Delvin Holt. Ms. Holt, you say you have unsuccessfully tried for 20 years to get Mr. Lillard to accept responsibility for your son, Delvin, and today is the day he is finally going to accept the truth.
Yes. Mr. Lillard gets all nostalgic, revealing intimate details about his past. With Ms. Holt, turns out she was his first in a bunch of things. Cue the audience all. He reminisces about the love and heartbreak she brought into his life, sharing a glimpse into their deep yet rocky past.
I'm just saying, I had a lot of admiration for her, but it's also my first heartbreak, first person I really experienced what pain was. It's not been no back and forth fighting over the years. It's been a very cordial thing. She made some mistakes that cost everybody a lot of pain right now, me and him.
Pain.
So,
to do with him.
Mr. Lillard uncovers the sticky mess of catching Ms. Holt cheating, sparking off a major drama. He tells a wild tale of skipping school and trekking 2 miles to confront her, culminating in a classic peek through the peephole moment.
Oh, this very sunny, bright day. Decided not to be at school. I left school, 2 miles to a family's home, knocked on their door, no answer. Looked through the peephole, shadows moving all around.
No.
Tiptoeing towards the door. So I parked myself on that concrete steady in 4 or 5 hours till they had to come out.
It wasn't even in there that long, so you...
Amid a fiery back and forth about who did what and who saw whom, Ms. Holt tries to set the record straight that it was just a friend at her place, not a lover. The conversation hits a peak when she admits to also testing another dude for paternity, thickening the plot.
Yeah.
Who was in the house with you?
That was just a friend. It's just a friend. We was not in there for no 4 hours. Maybe it was like 10, 15 minutes.
Second period, that's early in the morning.
No, it was not.
So you got third period, fourth period,
period, time, fifth period, and sixth period.
In this tearjerker segment Kicking, Delvin steps into the spotlight to share his side of the story, talking about growing up without Mr. Lillard. His mom reinforces his belief about Lillard being the pops, priming us for some major revelations.
My mom has always told me he was my father. I just basically came here to let him know I don't need a father, but I just really want to come to find out if he is so I can have closure, me and my mom.
I mean, you can tell on the pictures, they look just alike. It's not a secret.
It really it hurt me a little bit. Any kid needs a father, you feel me?
The big reveal happens here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lillard, you are not the father.
Okay, baby.